Last weekend, I went to a mini board game convention for 3 days. I played 15 games, and I'm here to share you my thoughts on each of them. Can't start a day without a good cup of coffee. Lovely little Airbnb, and we are getting ready for a sunny, hot day at the beach, and surprise, it's raining. Hey, that's okay, we're gonna be inside. Run, 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 run. Run, run from the raindrops. Look at that oh, and we're here. Still so beautiful. But let's go check it out and meet Jessa, who does absolutely everything known to man. The first thing before we get to playing the games that stood out to me was the ding and dent market. I always like buying games at this. Sometimes they're $5. They can be $50 or $100, but these are for some great games. So all of these ended up getting sold there. I didn't pick up quite a few of those, but you can see the Arcs expansion, $50 there. I didn't pick that up. But looking through these, you're going to see some cool ones. I got Luna Capital. I did get Embarcadero for like $15. I got that big Unsettled in the back, the one with everything. I got that for, I think, $150 for every single thing. And I got this Deluxe Batman for $35. I really wanted Inventions, but fortunately, people went ahead of me, which I was glad about, and they were able to grab that before I got there. None of these here, like Undaunted Almanac, had the one-player option, and Marble Zombies, of course, I've played through that already. None of these titles in particular caught my attention enough to want to pull the trigger. And this guy, we still don't know who he is. He appeared everywhere. He's waving all the time. Don't know who he is. Help me. But then, of course, is our play to win. A lot of the games I played were on this play to win shelf. So what that is you play the game and you enter your name into a raffle, and all of the people that played, their names, someone gets randomly drawn, and they win that game and get to take it home. So some beautiful winners here, like Botany and Hamster Roll. I've always wanted to play Alien Frontiers. Look how beautiful that is. Plunder, a lot of people pulled that out. Didn't get to play it. Brought to you by our sponsor for this video, my local game store, Cape Fear Games. Cape Fear Games is located in Wilmington, North Carolina. If you're ever there on the East Coast of the U.S., go check it out. They sell board games. They've got card games, disc golf. They've got an estate sale with rare games and rare collectibles. They've got a second-hand market, and I have found some gems in there. I just brought home Mage Knight for $35 from there. They've got a free-to-play library with well over 100 games, bigger library than I have by far. They've got role-playing games, miniature games, and a cafe. And if you use my checkout code, you get 20% off your order if you buy it online. So the link is in the description and in the pinned comment below. Let's start out with a beautiful game that was actually in the play to win stack. So I was fortunate enough to win this one and take it home. It is called Fromage. Yes, I know it's fromage. It's French or something. I don't know. It's about growing cheese. Fromagey, call it what you want. But let's see who this is. Designed by Matthew O'Malley, Ben Rossett, art by Pavel Zovba, and we've got Road to Infamy Games, and big kudos on the artwork for this. So, thoroughly enjoyed. I struggled with connecting the theme to the gameplay at first. I think I have it down now. I'm going to share that with you. So in this game, you have a creamery in front of you. It's 1 to 4 players, but each player has a creamery where you can grow cheese and grow cows or raise cows, whatever you want to call it, and fruits, and make buildings to get bonuses throughout the game. But the whole goal is to make cheese, deliver cheese in order to gain points. Person with the most points wins the game. Other than your creamery, you've got the main board in the middle, nice big circle, and you've got 4 quadrants, 1 quadrant facing each player. You only have to worry about the one in front of you, and it's basically its own mini game. One side might be a restaurant where you want to grow cheese and deliver it to a different table, as many different tables as possible, to get the most points before the end of the game. At the end of your turn, the board rotates, and you now have a new quadrant, a new mini game in front of you. And the next one might be more area control, where you're delivering to stores, and you want to grow and deliver to stores that are adjacent to each other as much as possible throughout the game, and so on. You've got these 4 mini games in one game. There's worker placement, which means all it is you have 3 little pawns, and you put them on the board, and wherever you put them, there's an icon, and you take that action. Every time you place a worker, it means that they've started growing cheese. Well, then the cheese needs to age, right, before you can deliver it. So that's where the board turning comes in. So you put your worker, and they're facing only one way. So let's say it's facing me. We turn the board. Well, now the worker is facing to the left, right? Well, I don't get to bring that worker back to use it again until the worker is facing me again. So that means several turns are going to pass before it's facing me again. Where if I put it in a space where it's facing to the right, then when we turn that board, I'm going to get that worker back this time. Once you take the worker back, it means the cheese is done. You've delivered it to that space. You have the worker to use again. Simultaneous play, everyone does everything at the same time. It plays quickly. Thoroughly enjoy if you like a simultaneous Euro. Rolling Realms Redo, or Redux, whatever. 1 to 6 players. This is designed by Jamie Stegmaier and Karel Tatek. And the art, of course, Miles Bensky, Marius Petrescu, published by Stonemaier Games. This is like the Super Smash Brothers, kind of. I know, stay with me. Super Smash Brothers of board games, only in the sense that Super Smash Brothers is a Nintendo game where you have all stars from all the different Nintendo games combined into one game. In that game, of course, you're hitting each other in the face as much as possible. You are not hitting anybody in the face in Rolling Realms. What you are doing is you're getting this mashup of all-star games, or just good games. Flamecraft, poker, Dog Park. Those are the examples we're going to use. There's many others. There's, what's that space one where you're like doing stuff? Planet Unknown. Anyway, there are 12 different realms. Each realm is a board game, and each realm is its own mini game that you're playing to get the most points by the end of the game. 3 rounds, 9 turns per round. Everybody takes their turn at the same time, and it's a roll and write, which if we're not familiar with it yet, a roll and write just means you roll the dice, and then you write something onto the dry erase boards, or actually it's the dry erase cards that are each realm. Okay, so what do? So you roll the dice. 2 dice. Everybody shares the value. It's a 2 and a 5. Let's say I've got Flamecraft, Poker, and Dog Park in front of me. You're going to have 3 realms randomly drawn for each round you play. If it's Flamecraft, I'm going to use one of those dice to match something that I can do on the Flamecraft card. You've got nice little shops, right? So I can use it to enchant that shop. Then maybe on the next turn, I can use another dice, assign it to gain the resources from what I've enchanted. I know it sounds confusing. I'm not even going to get started with poker. But let's say it's Dog Park. You've got a 3 and a 6. You assign one of the dice and only one to your dog park, and you get to walk your dog that many spaces. But the dog thinks that the floor is lava, so you only want to land on certain spaces. If you land on certain ones, you lose points before you get the dog home. So you want to assign your dice carefully. Here's the downside. You have to learn the rules for every one of the realms, which is a mini game of a real big game. So there is a lot of learning time your first time through each realm. But the instructions are clear enough. There were a couple instances that took us kind of until the end of our play before we realized maybe we made a little error. It wasn't a big deal. It's a learning game. So if you don't really enjoy learning a lot of different games, this probably wouldn't be for you. But if you can take 5 minutes or 3 minutes to learn each realm, you'll have a great time. And then there was this cool real-life interactive game, this Catan pin contest that Tessa, the coordinator of this whole event, and Angela put together, where when you came in and you got your badge for the convention, you got a bunch of Catan pins, like bricks, resources from the game, bricks and wheat and sheep and all that stuff. And the goal was to trade your pins, your resources, with other players to be able to collect enough to build a road. So you get enough of the pins, say a brick, and I don't know what makes a road. I can't remember. I did it a bunch. But it's 2 or 3 things. You trade it in and you get a road pin. You're able to make enough road pins, 2 road pins, then you can collect resources to make a colony, civilization, something like that. City, settlement, one of those things. And then by Sunday, the last day, whoever had the most points on their pins, because each of those is worth points, ended up winning a free copy of Fins. Obviously, I didn't win, but I at least got to settlements. And there was a whole thing of whoever had the longest road instead actually won something else as well. I don't remember what. but it was just a fun little side quest for the whole weekend. And it encouraged donating to a charity as well, which was a great thing. Good point to ask you. You can do this for free and help the channel out. If you're enjoying this or any of the videos here at Board Games for One, give a like, subscribe. I appreciate it so much. Expedition around the world. I guess this is a 1996 game that's now published under this name. So it's published. It was previously as National Geographic Expedition or 7 other games, whatever. It's designed by Wolfgang Kramer. I know that name. What did he design? Lead artist Joe Hartwig, many other artists, publisher Super Meeple, and many others. But this was wild, rip-roaring fun. If I had a group that wanted to play something like Pandemic or Ticket to Ride, I would play this instead. It plays 2 to 6 players, and I'm fine that it's not solo. I have no interest in playing this solo. I'm not sure that I would enjoy it 2 players either. I haven't tried it. If you have, let me know. But with 3 or more players, I think we had 5 players. Maybe we had all 6. But you're just building 3 common routes. What that means is you are all building the same 3 routes. So you got a blue route, a yellow route, and a red route. And you have cards in your hand with destinations like Cairo, Egypt, or New York, United States, or Paris. What you're trying to do is to get your route or any of the routes to go to that location. If you do, you get to put that card down. That's scored for points at the end of the game. You're going to draw more cards throughout the game, so you just want to get rid of all your cards by visiting them. And that's what ends the game. Whoever runs out of cards first triggers the end of the game. That doesn't mean you win. It's whoever has the most points from their cards. There are also common cards on the side that are visible to everybody that give you additional destinations that you can visit for more points. But here's the fun thing. Since you all share in the route building, you get to mess with each other. So if I put down the blue route on my turn, I get to put down 1 arrow to get my route going toward Cairo, Egypt. But maybe somebody else has Saudi Arabia, and they're like, we're really close, and he helped me go this way, but they build the blue route, they put an arrow to go that way. And now I'm way further away from where I was going. They totally messed with my plan. So I have to decide on the next turn, do I want to completely alter my plan or do I want to use a different route, the red or the yellow? And there are little special abilities. You can get tickets that help you place 2 routes in a row or other special things. We won't get too into that, but it stays very simple and it's just a lot of fun as you mess with each other's route, and every now and then it works out for you. It's probably not. But regardless, for a interactive group game, this was one of the funnest of the weekend. If you're a heavier gamer and you don't like, people messing with your plans, you'll hate this. But just have a light heart, have fun with it. Let's go to the next. Deep Rock Galactic. 1 to 4 players. This is a cooperative game, which means that you are all working together as a team in order to accomplish an objective. Designed by Ole Steinus, artist Rasmussen, and many others. Published by Mood Publishing. This is based on a computer game that I haven't played. I just became aware of it through the board game, actually, where you play as these grouchy, super cool, stout dwarves that are going down into this mine to meet a corporate quota that they've been assigned. So there's plenty of humor in this game. But in this mine, as you go down to collect the minerals and bring them back, because you have to make it into the cave, collect your stuff, and make it back out alive, there are these big, scary alien bug plant things that are trying to defend their cave against you. So each player gets to play one of the 4 dwarves. You've got, an engineer, a gunner, a scout, and somebody else. Pretty sure the engineer blows things up. The scout can move around very well. The gunner shoots things. And who's the other one? Seriously, what are you? There's the driller, because we're in a cave. We need a driller. They drill walls, and maybe bugs. But it's just fun as you each have your own unique abilities. You get to cooperate together to be like, all right, we need to get from A to B, and there's bugs here, and we don't know what's over there, so we might want to explore it, and then we're going to get to flip over like a cardboard landscape tile and figure out what's in there, which is probably a bug that's waiting to kill you. But why not? Curiosity killed the gamer. Hey, it's how things go. But you get to work together in order to help protect each other, defend each other, collect the minerals, and get back out. And this was so much fun because I had such a great crew to work with. They taught me the game so well. We all had a good attitude about it, and we did barely make it out, but we made it out, and we were playing at the experienced. We were playing at the experienced level, and I will say it felt a little easy for experience level. That may have just been because I was playing with experienced players. And again, it wasn't easy by any means, but I just mean that we barely made it out, but we did make it out. And I'm used to just dying all the time. So not overly challenging. If you want to die all the time and you don't like cooperative, obviously you won't like this. But otherwise, if you like cooperative, I really can't see why you wouldn't enjoy this. Now, couple dexterity games. Don't go away. Don't go away. I know how you gamers are. You gamers, myself included, with these dexterity games. Like, oh, don't touch. No. No. Just like Roland writes, how I didn't used to like those. I love them now. These dexterity games are super cool, but one is definitely better than the other. So we've got a newer game called Nikojima. It says 1 to 5 players, plays quickly, could be 5 minutes, could be 20, 30 minutes, but I'd be surprised for a game to go past that. Designed by David Carmona and Karen Yin, and art by Giles Warmos, published by Unfriendly Games, because they like making you feel sad when you knock a building over. Or I guess it's a power line. But I guess Nikojima means the island of cats. So what you have is you're building these power lines, basically. So you have these tall poles, wooden poles, and a string that connects them. They're all different sized pairs. So you might have a short pole with a long pole and a short string, or a long string, all kinds of different combinations. But it's a bag drawing game. So what you do is you pull out 2 cubes, and they're going to have colors. The colors go to quadrants on the board. There are 4 quadrants, I believe, 4 colors. So if you pull out a purple and an orange, that means you have to place one side of your pole, or one of your poles, in the purple and the other pole in the orange, and then you have the string in between. That's your turn. If you ever pull out a black cube, then you have to hang a little cat figure from the string, and the rule is the cat can't touch the poles or any other strings. It's the next person's turn. They have to do the same thing, and when they place their pole, they can stack it on top of already existing poles, but you cannot have any strings touching each other or poles. So it gets a little more complex as you're trying to figure out how to get these things to stack safely without falling and not touch each other. Spoiler, it's actually pretty tough and the tower's going to fall. So I enjoyed everything about this except hanging the cats. I know it's called the Island of Cats, Nikojima, but I enjoyed it. I would enjoy it more if I didn't have to hang the cats. So that was kind of the only thing that put this down from the next game that we're going to talk about. Okay, this was a breakout surprise hit. This is an old game too, 2000. Hamster Roll, possibly the best game of the whole weekend. I know. It's just a big wheel and you put cubes on it. That's it. Well, it's not all cubes. There's a cylinder and a cone. Anyway, you put shapes on the wheel. Best game in that it was the best surprise. And Neil, this guy here, was a new buddy I met. Super awesome, enjoyed playing a couple games with him, walked me through it, and of course won. Don't like him very much for that, but that's okay. So big wooden wheel, and it starts with a cone in it. On your turn, all you have to do is you've got like 7 different block-shaped things, wooden things, that you have to place on the hamster wheel. The first person to get rid of all their wooden pieces wins the game. But that's where the fun is. So you place a piece, and it rests on one of these ledges, which of course tilts the wheel. It starts to roll. Next person has to place their piece above yours, or so that it's taller, so they can put it in front of what you did, as long as it ends up with some part of it being above what you just placed. You can also skip those ledges if you want and go higher up to make it harder and make the wheel turn more. Well, you see where this is going. As you keep stacking and the wheel turns, these pieces start going up and up and up until inevitably they're going to fall. Any pieces that fall, it doesn't end the game. Those just go back into your pile of pieces. You now have more that you have to get rid of, and that's all you do. But it was so much fun. I played it again and again. If I see it somewhere, I'm buying it. And we ended Saturday with a big social deduction game. I wanted to give you a lot of variety here. It's called 2 Rooms and a Boom, or 2 Booms in a Room. No, it's 2 rooms, 1 boom, only 1. You're randomly assigned to a team, either the blue team or the red team. The blue team has a president. The red team has a bomber. The red team's goal is to end the game with the bomber in the same room as the blue team's goal is to have the president in a separate room from the bomber so that he doesn't go boom. It plays quickly in 3 rounds. First round's 3 minutes, second round's 2 minutes, final round is 1 minute. Each team is going to be in a separate room, and each team is going to have a designated leader. That leader can surrender their leadership and give it to someone else at any time, or you can usurp and vote and somebody else becomes the leader. But the point is, in your room, nobody knows which team people are on, right? Because you have a card that tells you, it tells me I'm on the blue team or the red team, and I don't want anybody to know. I thought I saw someone in the window, and it just about scared the lights out of me there. We're back. Creepy. It was just a sticker that's there all the time. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out who's the president and who's the bomber so that I can make sure they're not in the room at the end of the final round. You can do this by exchanging information any way you want. The rules are very loose. We had a pretty light-hearted crowd that didn't take it too seriously, which some wouldn't like. It was a little more goofy, but if you can embrace playing with goofiness and people maybe not over-strategizing it, it was a good time. I'm one of the ones that can over-strategize it, so I tried to let that go and just be silly with it. And you can see here in this lovely picture, we had a great time. This is a staple, it seems, at the Board Games at the Beach conventions, and I look forward to it every year, and I look forward to it next year. I hope we play together. We've talked about Cascadia before on this channel. Fantastic game. So this time I got to play Cascadia Rolling Rivers. Now I ran out of time because I had another game scheduled that I already committed to, so I didn't get to play all the way through, but I did fully learn the game and get to play a few practice rounds. So Rolling Rivers, we've got this designed by Randy Flynn, artist Beth Sobel. We see her in so many games like Wingspan. Publisher, Flat Out Games. This is 1 to 4 players, and this is called a flip and write, but it's also a roll and write. You're rolling dice, and the flip is really just revealing a new landscape card. So here's how it plays. Each player has their own smaller personal dice, and then there are common dice. I think there's 3 of them. And then there's a series of up to 4 landscape cards available at the top for everybody. Then you've got your own little paper, your landscape that you're building where you're going to color things in. It's a bring your own pencil kind of thing. No whiteboards and markers. So on your turn, you just look for the animals that showed up on your dice, because you're playing a game where you're trying to place animals into a matching habitat and make certain shapes and designs and things to get bonuses. You're not really trying to make shapes and designs, you're just trying to get the right groupings down. So you look at your dice, see what animals show up, you look at the common dice, and your personal dice, you pick one of those animals that's also shown on the common dice. You're going to fill a number of those into a matching spot on your habitat, and you're going to gain certain bonuses for how you place them. Once you get enough animals, you're able to add a landscape to, like, if you have a landscape up here and it says you need 1 elk, 2 fish, and a bear, if you have all of those collected from your dice, then you cross those out. And I don't remember if you take the landscape card or if you mark it. I think you just mark it on your paper. Maybe you keep it. I don't remember that part. But anyway, that's how you play through the game. And you have random bonuses and discounts that are assigned to each of the landscape spots that stay the same through every game. And you have randomly chosen every game 4 cards that are attached to the landscape card sections, right? So some might be discounts, so you pay 1 less animal, or bonuses on the bottom that give you special items. Like, really the only item you can collect are nature tokens, which you collect enough of those, you can use them like wilds for some other animal that you need. I know the least of this one out of all the ones I played, but I did enjoy it enough that I wanted to mention it. If you enjoy a roll and flip and write, I don't see any reason you wouldn't enjoy this. Just make sure you start on the right landscape sheet, because we started, maybe we had the advanced like side that we started with, and we were reading the rules and looking at the sheet, and we were being like, none of that is here, totally lost. We looked at another sheet, everything made sense. So obviously we were on the wrong one. Maybe it's an expansion, or maybe it just goes up in challenge levels, because there are 4 different sheets that you can write on, 4 different maps, I guess. And I almost just spit there, so it's time to move on. And it was Scott who learned that with me. So howdy, Scott. Thank you. It was a pleasure playing with you. And to everybody else, I forget everybody's name, and it's not fair. All right, now a potential star of the show is Botany. So this is a new game. Is this 2025 or is this 2024? I don't know. I can't. Yeah, 2024. It's new. Anyway, designed by Amy Draws and Dusty Draws, brother and sister, husband and wife. I don't know. Anyway, Ducks Somnium Games, 1 to 5 players. This gem takes us to Victorian England, and I knew that I was in love as soon as I heard that and I saw the art on the board. Oh my goodness, this is everything I wanted Obsession to look like. Absolutely lovely, even comical, because the art represents the time. And some of the ideas were ridiculous, but I love it. So you're playing as botanists, going on expeditions around the world to collect new and rare plant species, then bring them back to England to your estate in order to either place them in a greenhouse or press them, study them, gain income. You get points for each specimen. The goal is to have the most points in the game. There is very little interaction with other players in this game, so there is a lot of downtime when it's not your turn. I see this as a 1 to 3 player game. We played at 5 players, and we're going to take around here and you're going to see everybody here loved it and wanted to play it again, as you see right here. But then when I asked, would you play this again at 5 players? You'll see, look, he wanted to. She wanted to. Is it Carol? And oh my goodness, help me with the names. I'm so sorry. Anyway, the rest of us you saw, and that's just not fair. He was such a good teacher too. Anyway, nobody else wanted to play it again at 5 players because at 3 hours we actually had to stop because we had committed to other games, and I thought a 3-hour window is fair. Apparently that wasn't enough for a 5-player first game teach and play. Despite that, I loved the experience. I'd do it again. How do you play it? Basically, on your turn, you start out at the estate. You take whatever money you have from the estate with you, and that's what you have to go on an expedition. You can move on your turn any from, 1 to 3 spaces. Each space is a different country. And what you're trying to do is to get to countries that match the cards in your hand. Each card is a different plant belonging to a different location. So maybe I've got, a lily that I need to get to in China. That's not what the card is, but let's just do it. All right, so I need to get to China. If I get there, congratulations. I get to pick up that lily, and it's now on my ship. Or it's a part of my expedition. Somewhere in there's a ship. It's part of my expedition. You can only hold so many plants since you're out on an expedition, and you only have the coin that you left with. You might earn more, maybe, probably not. You can also pick up crew as you visit different places and pick up items. But then, on most turns, not every turn you don't have to, but most turns you're going to also have to flip over an event card, which makes something bad happen. And I love that part. It's very exciting. You have to roll dice, and depending on the dice roll, depends on what happens. It could be good, it could be bad. I enjoy that randomness in it. You have items and such, and unique characters with traits that mitigate the luck of the roll. I'm a big fan. Then when you've collected enough, you have to make it back to your estate on the money you have, and it costs money for each time that you take a turn to travel. You have to spend 1 coin. Money's hard to come by. You get back to the estate, you drop your stuff off, you pick up any income that's been earned while you're away, and you go back out again. If I see this, I'm buying it. Actually, you know what? This game might be the star. You know what? There were several stars of the show, but just in completely different areas. Botany and Red Dragon Inn, can't compare the two. So I played my first game of Red Dragon Inn. Actually, I played a tournament. So I played through 3 full games of Red Dragon Inn. And thank you to my teacher who taught it so well and made it so fun by adding the role-playing aspect that this game really requires. It feeds on it. But Red Dragon Inn it's a very social game. For how many players? Let's find out. 2 to 4 players. It is designed by Cliff Bohm and others. Artist is Cold Fusion Studios and others. Lots of names. Publisher is Slugfest Games. Okay, so if you're playing with the base game as we did, as one of 4 base characters. You got your big tanky knight lady, and then you've got your little rotten thief goblin, and then you've got your priestess who supposedly heals people. She doesn't. And then you've got your wizard dude who pulls rabbits out of hats and things like that. But what it is you're all back from your adventure, and now you're at a tavern. That's where the game starts. While at the tavern, you're telling stories and drinking. Start the game with fortitude, That's how good you're feeling. And alcohol content or drunkenness level over here. As you take drinks, your drunkenness level gets closer to your fortitude. As you do stupid things and other people do stupid things to you, you feel a lot worse and your fortitude starts coming down. If the two ever meet, you're knocked out of the game. Last person standing wins. On your turn, all you have to do is play cards from your hand. You've got like maybe a 7 card hand, something like that. You play a card, and it could be something like you accidentally punch somebody in the face, or the priestess will do something. She'll be like, the goddess made me do it, and she accidentally poisons you. Something like that. It'll make your fortitude go down, or they'll make you take an extra drink, which takes your alcohol level up. But they're all very silly, fun, thematic, playful cards. It's a very rotten game. There's also a mini game of gambling that you can start a gambling game, and you can win by collecting. Well, you win. Okay, so you lose if you run out of money. So you can win by forcing other people to gamble, taking all their money. If they run out of money, then of course they're kicked out of the inn. They're kicked out of the bar because now they're poor. They're dirt poor. And they're out of the game. But there's plenty of strategy in playing each deck, as each character has their own specialties for working against each other. You have to have a good attitude about it, but I didn't feel, even when I was ganged up on, and boy howdy, was I ganged up on, thank you, Dylan, it didn't particularly feel bad. All right, it just felt like a good time. Played it 3 times, I'd play it many more. If you don't like some measure of randomness or having your best laid plans annihilated by the wrong card being put down, you're not going to be into this. It's strategy role-playing with R&D. Make of that what you will. Since we were being social, why not just go right into the next big social game, Blood on the Clock Tower. This is for 6 to 21 players. I think the ideal is usually under 14. Designed by Stephen Medway, many artists will say Michaela Dawn and many others. Publisher is the Pandemonium Institute. This is already known as the king of social deduction games, and it really has earned that trophy, that title. That also means if you don't like social deduction games, you're not going to like this at all. Though there's a lot of laughter while playing, there's a lot of strategy. If you're playing with other people who actually enjoy the game and don't want to just like goof around or make fun of the game, then you're kind of going to be miserable. Though the theme isn't my thing, the social deduction strategy part is, it hits the nail on the head. There's nothing like this. So what do? Every game has a storyteller, so they are not one of the villagers in the town. Everybody else is a villager in the town of Ravenswood Bluff. And you each get assigned, or sometimes, depending on the game, choose a role. The game comes with many different scripts. What a script is just a list of the good and evil characters that are available for the game. That doesn't mean that they're all in there. It just means these are the people that might be in the game. The different roles are things like the chef, the juggler, the savant, the mayor, all the different roles. Evil players might be something like the main evil, the imp, or the Vortox, or the Leviathan. Then there are outsiders in the town, those folk that just don't quite belong. People like the drunk and the psychopath. I think the psychopath is an outsider. Maybe the psychopath is a minion. Whatever. That brings us to our other category, the minions, the ones that assist the main evil. But, of course, you only know who you are. You don't know who the other people are. The goal of the game, if you're a townsfolk, is to survive and identify who the evil player is, or the evil players. And then, of course, if you are on the evil side, your goal is to eliminate all of the townsfolk, or some other goal, depending on the script. People have gone wild with this, with home-brewed scripts, where you can create your own script, and it's pretty much infinite, the combinations that you can make, considering the volume of the different types of townsfolk. So, each townsfolk and evil character and outsider and minion has their own special ability. Some are only able to be used once, like, I forget who it is, it's not the washerwoman. Somebody on the first day, they start knowing how many pairs of evil players there are in the game, right? So it's a one-time use ability. They still play in the game. Other abilities are used every night. So the game takes place over day and night. During the daytime, you all converse with each other or break off into small groups to ask questions to try and find out who you trust, who you don't, what their role is it safe for me to tell them my role, and share all that information with each other. At the end of the day phase comes executions in the town because people are paranoid now, right? So there's time for nominations. Anyone can nominate somebody for execution. If enough people nominate or agree or vote for that nomination, then that person might get executed at the end of that day. And if so, they're not out of the game. They just only get one vote in the future, but they continue participating, absolutely active. They just very sparingly use that one vote. Matter of fact, part of the strategy of the game sometimes is to even volunteer to be executed in some cases, if that will help with information gathering. I'm getting lost in the weeds. We had a small group of just 5 people. We had a storyteller and 5 players. I don't know if they had a good time. I think they did because they were laughing a lot. In a good way, I had a really good time. Those 4, they knew each other. They play with each other regularly. I was the newbie that hasn't played the game in 2 years. Despite that, not to brag, but I was able to fool all of them in our 3rd game when I was the imp and came out victorious. Of course, I was the imp on the first game too. We played 3 games. I was imp on the first game and I got found out. Not the 3rd time. But a big thank you to Connor, our storyteller. Again, the theme isn't for me, but the gameplay is absolutely without parallel. But just final warning on that before we move on. If you don't want to, you can play this new with no knowledge and really enjoy it. But if you're looking for something more goofy, playing around, totally loosey-goosey roles, like we're not really playing a game, please don't, okay? You won't enjoy this. This is if you actually want to try to deduce things. And now we're going to go to an oldie that I've actually talked about before, but we played it on Saturday night right after Clock Tower, and this is Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space. This is a hidden role, hidden movement game that I'm not going to rate as highly as Clock Tower, but it's still a good game. It actually started as a print and play, if I recall correctly, and it was so much loved, kind of like Rolling Realms. I think that started as print and play, that there's now a printed version. All right, so we've got 2 to 8 players designed by Mario Porpora and many others. Maybe there's different designers for different maps. I don't know. Artist is Julia Gigini, forgive me there, and the publisher Cranio Creations and many others. I don't see this being fun at 2 players, but maybe if you play on one of the small maps. So you play on a map where you're on a spaceship, and that spaceship has a lot of different sectors. The starting level one, like the beginner friendly one, is pretty big, so you have plenty of room to move around. Once you get experienced, you probably want one of the more experienced maps where the space is tighter. Otherwise, you're going to just be playing forever chasing each other and not really enjoy it. So I like that they include those tighter maps. It fixes what could otherwise be a problem. But similar to Clock Tower, you are on one of 2 teams. You're either humans or you are the aliens. If you're the humans, you are trying to go through the sectors to make it to a life pod and escape, because you're on a ship with very scary aliens trying to eat you, apparently, which makes it very awkward when you play as the aliens, because what is your goal? Your goal is to find all the humans and eat them. But they're not humans, so I guess that makes it okay. That's how things roll. Anyway, you also have a character ability. So you play it, maybe you play as the captain or something like that. And they're going to have usually a one-time use ability, but maybe there's some that are persistent. But on your turn, all you have to do is you have a map down in front of you of the ship where you mark where you think the other players are. And then your secret sheet in front of you is where you mark where you are. No one else gets to know. So on your turn, you move to a sector by writing it on your secret board. And if it is a safe sector, then you just say silence in all sectors. Nobody gets any information. It's the next person's turn. But if you move into a dangerous sector, and they're color-coded by white or gray, most of the spaces are dangerous sectors. If you move into a dangerous sector, then you have to draw a card. No one gets to see what it is. When you look at the card, it's going to tell you to do one of 3 things. It's either going to tell you If it's red, that you have to tell the truth and say what sector you're in. So you're going to be like sector D1. And nobody knows if you're telling the truth, but they might, just in case, mark it on their ship map that you might be there. If you draw a green card, you get to say any sector at all. It doesn't have to be true. So you can make people think that you're somewhere else. Again, nobody knows which color you got. Only you know that. Or you get a white card, which sometimes is an item. You just put that face down in front of you, and people will think you have an item. You might not. It could just be a blank white card. But the item you can usually use at any time on one of your turns. Maybe there's something you can use when it's not your turn. I don't remember. But we played this at like 5 players, and we had a good time. One of the humans escaped, and the other human got eaten and turned into an alien, and the other human almost, boy, she ran for a long time. She was brilliant. But in the end, I got her because I was an alien. Only downside to this is if you're a human and you get eaten by an alien, that's great because then you spawn as an alien in the alien section and you go out and now you're part of the alien team. If you are an alien and you get killed, which shouldn't happen, but your teammates can do it to you, a human can do it to you as well. It's just rare, then you're out of the game. That's fine. But the only thing is if it's just one human running and nobody, because they're all quite dumb like we were, can get them, then you're running around for a long time just swinging and missing trying to attack. So if you're an alien, what that means is on your turn as an alien, you can move 1 or 2 sectors. You can attack at the end of your turn. And if you attack a sector where a human is, then they get eaten. If you're a human, you can only move 1 sector at a time. But anyway, that's why using the big map for beginners is good for your beginner game, but after that, move to the tighter maps so that there's more pressure and you can't just have people all over the place kind of aimlessly running around. So great time, and thank you. It was the same group as the Clock Tower group, and they were wonderful to play with. Hope to play with you all again. Thank you. And that brought us to Sunday. We started with House of Fado, and again, Matthew and Angela, my good buddies there now, they taught, well, actually, no, you know what? Another gentleman, I can't remember his name. He was wonderful. He came over and taught us, so thank you very much. I need to just start writing people, or take the picture and write the name. It's hopeless. Anyway, I got to play with Matthew and Angela and Neil again, our hamster roll guy, in this highly thematic Lacerda game. Lacerda being one of the designers. We've also got Joella Martins, artist, Marina Costa, publisher, Eagle Griffin Games. I don't think light is the right word for this game by any means. It's absolutely at least medium weight. It would be called Light Lacerda, as he is known for heavy games. He's also known for incredibly thematic. So I'm not going to give you the whole history on what a House of Fado is, but look it up. It's absolutely fascinating. A Portuguese type of cafe that would play music with just 3 instrumental players, a guitarist, a singer, and this other thing that looks like a guitar. I don't know what to call it, but the theme is, traditionally, people would go into a House of Fado, and they would dine and drink until the place closed. So there was no, like, rotating of tables. You go in and you stay for the whole evening. And that's what you're doing here. You are a manager of a House of Fado. You've got your own little player board. This is 1 to 4 players. And there's a lot of player interaction, so there is little to no downtime. Well, there's some downtime, but it's so little that it was negligible to me. And I was thankful for it because I needed a minute to breathe. But you've got your little club, your House of Fado on your board, and then the shared board above. This is where you're able to place workers. You have 3 workers, I believe. You can place them on any space on the board as long as you don't already have one of your workers in that space or that section. So you can hire musicians, you can earn notes in order to, basically it's like order completion, so you're collecting a series of notes so that you can get that sheet of music. You can also go out to get a critic to come into your restaurant. You can go out to get customers to come into your restaurant. Once your worker is out on the board, you can then move it to any other different space, as long as you don't have one of your own workers there. The interaction part is you can place your worker where there is another player. So you place your worker, which then bumps them down to another subspace. There's 3 connected to it that give them a benefit of a different type. It might be they can choose where to go. They can be like, all right, I'm going to slide into the gain a coin, or I'm going to slide over here to pay a coin to get a customer. Things like that. And there's a lot of bumping each other around, so you're always making choices. Once you've had enough fun out here and you're dead broke and you need money, well, you have to come back and you have to close your restaurant for the night. So let's say you were able to go out and hire a few musicians, maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe all 3, and you filled it with customers and a critic. Well, when you close the restaurant, you get different benefits based on how many of those you had in there and what types. You're able to upgrade your musicians, so if they perform very well and you get all your little people to applaud for them, then they go up levels by turning a dice up a number. The more famous they become, the better it is for points. The goal of the game is to reach certain objectives that earn you stars. So like if you ever get a singer into the fame space of 6, then you'll get a star for that if you're the first person to get there. Or if you collect 3 sheets of music, you're going to get a star for that. Or if you're the first to open up, you start with a locked table, like your restaurant only has maybe 2 tables available in the bar. But later on, by inviting critics and then getting rid of critics, you're able to eventually open up a table. If you're the first to do that, you get a star, so on and so on. The game ends when the 3rd star has been collected, but everybody still gets an equal number of turns, then you score for points. This was absolutely beautiful. I love how well it moved. It still is on the heavier side of medium, but the theme makes it all make sense with an not an experienced player, but somebody he had learned it the day before and played. He did an excellent teach, I would say 20 minutes. So again, I'm so sorry I don't remember your name, but thank you for teaching it to us. You did a fantastic job. Okay, now this next one's pretty wild. Great fun. Matthew brought this specifically for me to play, which was great. So Matthew and Angela, and we had another player, and I can't remember your name. I'm so sorry. It's going to be awkward the next time I see all of you. But this is Moon Colony Bloodbath. 1 to 5 players, published by Rio Grande Games, designed by Donald X. artist Franz Vohawinkel, and the art is very retro style, 1960s, what they thought space travel would look like in the future. So it's cool because it's a common shared deck builder. This is an engine builder, engine destroying game, right? It's got a 6th sense of humor, and I loved it. Each one of you has your own moon colony, your own special character and their own special perk cards that you can add into a deck later. But I think they're all the same, just with different flavor text. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But everybody plays at the same time, and what you have is you have a number of colonists, say 40 colonists available in your colony, and then different work actions you can take, like mining to get money, or farming to get food, or building to make a building, and so on and so on. There's a deck in the middle, and you start out with a set number of cards, but throughout the game you can add cards to that common deck to make it a better deck or a worse deck. I opted for making it worse. I'm not entirely sure why, because it really came back to bite me, but it was sure fun to do. So all you do is you flip over a card. You do what it says. It might say take a work action. You get to take one of your work actions. Awesome. Each time you build a building, it's going to come with some special ability and a number of colonists on it. But sometimes you're going to flip a card over and it's only going to benefit you or another player. The next card might be something like a disaster, emergency, hazard. I forget what it's called, but it's something bad where you add a bad card to the deck. And then on the next turn, you get to resolve it. And it might be something like robots invaded and killed 5 of your colonists. You lose 5 colonists. The game ends when one player runs out of all their colonists are dead, right? Due to mistakes. That was me. Everybody died first. Then the winner is the person that has the most colonists left. What happens though is once you run out of your 40 colonists on your board, and there are ways to gain colonists there, but it's hard to do. It's possible. Then you have to start sacrificing your buildings on the outside, and you bring those colonists. So if this building had 10 colonists, I lose that building, it's gone, but I get 10 colonists over here. So that's where as you lay your buildings with their benefits, you're building this strong engine, but then you have to sacrifice it to get your stupid colonists so that they can live and you have a colony. That's it. I know you can play this solo. I don't have a desire to play it solo, honestly, but at 3 and 4 players, I absolutely loved it. Final game of the weekend, brought by, you guessed it, Matthew and Angela, who taught it to me, and our same friend who played Blood Colony, Bloodbath, whatever. I'm so sorry. Anyway, Fleet the Dice Game is from 2018, 1 to 4 players. What do we got? Ben Pinchback and Matt Riddle, artist. Marias Janusonis and Nolan Nasser, publisher, Eagle Griffin Games. This is a roll and write. Again, I've heard great things about it, but I've never had an interest in playing it, and boy am I glad I did. Now you'll notice in any of the shots I have here that these are laminated sheets we're writing on. The game doesn't come that way. Matthew and Angela laminated their own copies, and I recommend doing that with your roll and writes if you can, because it sure is more fun to use the dry erase markers on those sheets. But this is just a fishing game where you roll a set of dice. Well, there are 2 sets of dice. So how it goes is first you go fishing and then you come inland to the ports or the markets. You're just trying to gain as many points as possible. You gain points by going out and catching fish, by getting more boats in your fleet, by selling things at the market, and by gaining money and other objectives like the king crab, which I totally ignored. I blame my teacher for that one. Actually, no, he taught it very well. I just decided not to pay attention. But on your turn, you each take a turn, you roll the dice. Then you look at the dice, it's going to be different types of fish. You pick the fish that you want and pull it for yourself. The next player picks their fish, the next their fish. Whatever's left over, everybody gets that benefit. So if I pulled a cod, then I'm going to have a spot where I can circle under the cod column. Okay, I got a little check there. Cool. And the other person does the same, and then you check your common one. After you check enough boxes, it will come to something special, like a fishing license or a boat. If you get to one of those, that's great. You just got a boat. Now, during the fishing phase, you get to get fish, or it's the license, which has some ongoing benefit most of the time, or maybe a one-time bonus, but usually it seems to be ongoing. Then you earn your income. You've got a little income box, and there are ways by checking off different boxes that you can increase your income, but you gain your income, check off your money. They're worth points if you do the king crab thing. Then some rounds have a fishing phase where you get to add a fish to any boats you've collected. That's why you want to collect as many boats as possible. Then comes the market phase. You roll a different set of dice. The market, port, pier dice, right? Same thing. You take the dice you want. Do you want to go to the market and do something there? Or do you want to go to the pier and do something there? This gains you money and end game bonuses, for the most part. And you just do this over, 9 rounds? I could be wrong on that. I think it's 9 rounds. Whoever has the most points at the end wins. Did any of these games strike your fancy? If so, check them out. Try to give them a play. Maybe your local game store has a copy that you can try it out, or a friend, or if you want to purchase one of them. Again, remember, you're supporting a local game store and my channel if you buy it through the link below. If it's available there, I hope it is. If not, let me know. Or it's sold out. I don't know. I don't run a business. I run a channel. Even better, say howdy to me in person if you're able to make it to Board Games at the Beach next year. I know it's too far for most of you, but maybe some of you might happen to be in the area at that time. Look, I love you all. Thank you for sticking with me. I'll see you next time.